Hello, and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle with me, your host, Joshua Smith. I am experiencing some lag on my end. I don't know if you guys are. I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's been a bitch for like the last couple weeks, and I know that you guys know that. You've watched some shows, and it's been a little laggy, so I hope it's not too bad for you. Usually it clears up in the replay. For some reason, I don't know why it only happens while you're streaming, and then all of a sudden all the frames are back afterwards. But who gives a fuck? We're going to do the show anyways. I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. It's Thursday, right? You guys remember a few months ago when I was working like every single day forever because there's only two guys at my job and there's only 2 day guys at my job, and we cover the shifts that are each other off. Well, the other day guy got fired. So right now I'm back to working all those damn shifts for the next about a month or so until they hire somebody new. So I'm a little out of it. I'm a little busy. And obviously I haven't been doing the show a whole lot, and shit just keeps happening, dude. But we are going to get back to it. I promise. Eventually. I know Top Lopster will be on the show next week. I got another good show for you, I think on Friday before I head up to Minnesota next week. So that'll be fun. But guys, check out some sponsors. Of course, we have toplobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you can get this great Break the Cycle pillow that you see next to me every week, and all kinds of other great shit, including stuff from me, Dave Smith, No Way Jose, Clint from Liberty Lockdown. I mean, all the shows that you guys like. There's stuff up on Top Lobster. He's got all kinds of great designs. Of course, you can get all the Break the Cycle stuff as well. And if you use BTC at checkout, you can get a 10% discount. Or you can join my Patreon, subscribe star, become a member of this here YouTube channel under all of my videos by hitting the join link, where you can get into a private Discord server and get up to 30% off of all of his new gear up to 2 weeks before it goes to the general public. Now, he's just moved to Florida, so he's been a little busy not putting new stuff out. But he is going to start putting new stuff out. Promise you that. The guy's constantly drawing great shit. So, and of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today. See what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Seriously, if you guys own a business, go check out anthemplanning.com. You are not going to want to miss it. They're going to give you all kinds of help. I promise you. The kind of help that you need for your business. I promise you. Guys, yeah, and we talked about Top Lobster. I am wearing Black Guns Matter tonight. If you haven't noticed, being a bitch is un-American. I figured that was the good shirt for me to be wearing tonight for our guest, who I'm very excited about. If you guys remember last week, I had Michael Heiss, the founder and almighty overlord of the Libertarian Party Mises Caucus, on my show to talk about the Pennsylvania state sweep, as I'm calling it. Or the Pennsylvania reset. Like, it just doesn't sound as good as the Reno reset, but we're going for that too in 2 more months from next weekend. But included in that sweep was a complete full overturn of the entire committee for the state board. And my guest tonight is the newly elected Eastern Vice Chair for the Libertarian Party of Florida. Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. Same thing, right? Same thing.
I mean, nah, not at all. But
Anthony,
it's all good.
Anthony Portillo, sir, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, dude, I am so good. I'm stoked to be here. Hey, hail Heiss.
Oh, geez. There we go, dude. We're all fucking in trouble now, dude. Here comes the Fakertarians are going to be here in 5 minutes.
Dude, I have to do it because he hates it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I won EBC on, it wasn't even close. It was like, I got 211 votes. The opponent got 50.
Yeah, it wasn't close.
It was like 211 to 55.
Yeah, but if you ask them, you guys bust in 200 of those people.
And that's not true at all. Actually.
Not at all.
But I mean, if you ask Nick Sarwalk, also, I mean, if
you guys started a full-scale brawl and fuck all kinds of shit.
If you're curious, the CIA's input, you could find it other places besides Sarwalk.
Yeah, like the New York Times or any of those really good publications. You know what I mean? Same exact thing.
So for me, I'm like, hey, if like 80% of the LPPA is Nazis, we're doing okay for for our job. But realistically, like I've only been involved in the party for like a year. So for me, I was so proud of guys like Heiss, Joe Van Wagner, Mark Bazzacco, Calvin Mingione, Luke Ensor. There's like 12 dudes.
They're all my very
I could list off that. Yeah. All those guys. Yeah. And like Havalka was there, and we had so much fun. It was a great time, but also I'm like, those guys paved the way for this to be what it is.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I just get the benefit from the work they did.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good to see people jumping in, because I'll tell you, during my campaign for chair in 2020, it was essentially like thousands of people that were like, "Look, if you win chair, I'll get involved." Right. And I'm like, dude, like, you need to get involved now. You want me to win chair? You need to fucking show up. You know what I mean? This is what communists do. They sit around while everybody else does the work, and then they reap the rewards, right? If there's even any rewards to go around anymore, right? And I remember, it's funny because I remember Pete Raymond from Free Man Beyond the Wall was he was saying that same shit like 2 years ago, and now he's like super anti-LP. But it's true. Like, I mean, look. We knew it all along, right? Like Mike and myself, back when we were just like a very small handful of people in a Facebook group talking about ideas. We knew because we were a part of the Ron Paul Revolution, right? And the Ron Paul Revolution was invigorating and fun, and it made people want to get involved. And we knew if we brought that energy to the party, that people would come. We knew that we could win. We knew that we could take it over. We knew that we could take all these positions, these little stupid positions of power that they clamor for. We knew that we could get candidates to run that would be good candidates. We knew it was going to happen, but a lot of people couldn't see the value in it. So I'm glad that you finally did, after 25 years of us working our ass off for you, bro.
Well, honestly, no, I'll give you my background a little bit.
Yeah, please do. That's usually how we start the show off, man. So.
Right. So I've been a registered libertarian since I was registered to vote.
Oh, nice.
I'm 39 years old.
Oh, me too.
I'm going to be 40 years. I'm going to be 40 this year. But also, as a kid, like, I remember my grandma let me stay up in 1992 and watch the election results from Bush Clinton. And literally since 1992, well, I remember Ross Perot. But I actually remember him as Dana Carvey on Saturday Night Live back when it was funny, because he was far better than Ross Perot ever could do. But my grandma let me stay up that night and watch the election results. And literally, this is not a joke. My son's 18, my daughter's 16. They will tell you I have not missed a presidential debate, including primaries, on either side since then. Like, it's the same thing as like a UFC fight to me.
Right.
I'm a weirdo, and I've studied politics for a long time. My family's Argentine, but my abuela's from Cuba. It's my grandfather's second wife. But I remember being a kid and her telling me how, like,
wait. You mean to tell me that you're not a Nazi white dude?
No, I'm not.
Holy
I'm actually
shit.
like not white at all. But
wow.
So I'm Argentine, and my abuela is from Cuba. So I had a mix of like a family that came from Argentina to America for a better life, and a family who fled Cuba because life was so bad there. My abuela would tell me stories where, like, they literally were like 11 siblings who had patterns in which they slept so they could all fit on the floor at night. And if someone got a cold, they couldn't go to the store and buy medicine. Everybody just got sick.
Right.
You couldn't even talk to your neighbor at the convenience store because you could get charged with conspiring.
My goodness.
So for me, I'm like, I grew up with this just healthy distrust of the government. And I'm old enough to remember 9/11 how it went from like Al Qaeda hit us to like Saddam Hussein, we have to get rid of him. Like, I'm old enough to remember when Ron Paul like was Nostradamus, and everything he said has come true. Right. I'm old enough for people to get behind Barack Obama 2 times in a row, and he dropped more bombs than George Bush. Like, I'm old enough to remember all the fake narratives they fed us. So at this point, I was like, hey, man, like, I have to get involved in some way, shape, or form. And I've never took the LP seriously, but I believed in the liberty movement. The problem was, for the most part, the liberty movement looks like Republicans.
Right.
And my ex-wife was a Republican committee woman. I saw the inside of that world, and I wanted nothing to do with it. And then I met Mike Heiss, and I heard about the Mises Caucus, and I was like, hey, these are guys I want to talk to. And I got involved, and from there I was like, hey, these are the dudes I want to go to war with. And
Right.
then I brought my girl into the fold, and my girl was like, hey, these are the people we need to go to war with. And then I brought my kids in and was like, hey, this is the family we're building now.
Right.
This is so much different than politics. This is like, now these are dudes that I legitimately love. Like, I talk to these guys and we get off like when we're getting off the phone, I'm like, I love you, bro. I'll talk to you tomorrow, because we're probably going to talk tomorrow. It's insane. Like, the culture that we've built here is so crazy to me. And we'll get into some of the shit I got going on.
Sure.
But I want to hijack your show for a second.
Oh, go ahead. Please do.
Because you got a VC run coming up, and I see you got a little Fundly thing going on. How short are you of your goal right now?
I think we're about $1,800 from the goal or something like that. So.
All right. So listen, I got 50 right here.
Nice.
You can see it, cash money on camera. I'm donating.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
So that's, I'm going to hand that to the wife, who's going to.
Yeah, she's going to put that into she'll put that into the internet. It goes right into the internet, into the Fundly account.
Also, I would love to see some super chats of people who are supportive of the cause, that are willing to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Super chats are great.
Set the example.
Yeah, please do. Or just go to the Fundly. You know what I mean? Find me. It's all over my Twitter. And you
either way,
just give
them some money.
Yeah, help me out. Look, here's the deal. So, and I haven't really talked publicly much about this. So in 2018 for my campaign, I traveled to about 27 states, right? Over the course of 6 months or whatever. I went to a lot of states, and it was like I was working full time. I was working Monday through Thursday, 410s, flying out every Friday and flying back every Sunday, and working Monday through Thursday. I did that. I think I did that straight for 3.5 or 4 months straight. Right. And then at the end of it, I let go of my job so I can finish the campaign. And I was doing like little random shit around, like, side shit when I was home. And then I hopped on Adam Kokesh's bus for 2 weeks and took that around the country for a while. I put a lot of fucking time and effort into that campaign, but people donated really well. I mean, really, I think we ended up raising about, I don't know, it was between 8 and 10 grand. I know that. And it was very helpful, but I still spent, even at that much raised, I still spent thousands of dollars of my own money. Then in 2020, we raised a little bit of money, but then we got cut off from traveling because of COVID. I think I had gone to 12 conventions already before March, and they cut off because of COVID. So I stopped raising money because I was like, well, I'm not traveling. I don't need to raise any more money. So I stopped. So we didn't raise much money that year, but it was enough to get me to where I needed to go prior to that. And I still spent a couple $1,000s. This year, we've raised probably truly around $3,000 tops, max. And I've already been to 3 conventions. Last time I took my kids, and I've been taking my kids to conventions and shit too, so it's more expensive. So I'm still spending my own money, a lot of my own money, even with people donating.
The PA,
yeah, and I had bought. This is gonna piss people off. I had bought a plane ticket to PA already, and yeah, and I ended up not being able to go because I had that shit happen at my work with the guy, and so I had to cover that weekend, so I couldn't go. It was like the worst possible weekend, because now if I need a weekend, I can either take my PTO and the boss will cover or something. But it was like the one weekend that I had to go to work, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude! Like, you gotta be kidding me. So I had to miss that, unfortunately. But yeah, if you guys, if you wanna help me out, and you want to win this thing, I mean, we are literally 2 months away from Reno. I mean, that's it. It's over. It's only 2 more months. So I have a very limited amount of conventions that I can get to. And I'd like to make it to those, but I cannot do it all on my own dime. There's no fucking possible way whatsoever. So, and I know I'm going to Minnesota, Kansas, probably driving up to Ohio, which is about 10 hours away. And I'm going to try to make it to Texas for one day. So that's my current tentative schedule. And what I've raised is not going to cover that. So if you guys want to help me out, please do.
So I'm one of the 2 people who put together the proposal for next year's LPPA convention. The other person who put it together with me, Allison Graham from PA, is anyone on the LNC needs to learn about this chick. Sure. She's legit a career historian. She's a gun. We put together a convention proposal, and literally like every place I was like, hey, I can get them to give us this place for this much money. she was like, so there's a story behind that, and this guy was related to this guy, and his second cousin signed the Declaration of Independence.
Jesus.
So if that proposal passes, you have to commit to come to PA in 2023. You have to.
Next year I'll come to PA. I'm fine with that. I can.
All
do
right,
that.
bring the kids, dude. I have a gang too.
Well, I don't know if we'll be able to bring the kids because that's a flying to convention from here, from Iowa.
Fair enough.
So
I
live in Iowa. I live right outside of Des Moines, Iowa, and so we can drive a lot of places.
Bro, my favorite band of all time.
Slipknot.
I'm going next Saturday. I'm going with the wife and kids and my sister and my kid's stepdad. We got a whole gang of us driving 2 hours.
It's so funny because
I see Slipknot in Reading. It's the 31st time I've seen them in my adult life.
That's a lot of times,
seen
dude.
them every time they've been in the tri-state area in the last 20.
Well, it's funny because I just moved to Iowa 2 years ago, and actually just a little over 2 years now, like 2 years and 2 weeks I've been here, and everybody you meet in the Des Moines area, right, is somehow twice removed from Slipknot. Everybody meets like, oh yeah, my cousin's dad bought the Sean's old house when he moved out, and oh yeah, Corey used to play at the pool hall that my good friend owned, and I hang out there now. And I'm like, did you hang out there when Corey was there? No. Well, you don't know fucking Corey, okay? And it's like everybody you meet in Iowa, everybody is like twice removed from Slipknot. They all know him. And then there's people that have like legit stories that I know that like saw Corey striking down University Avenue at like 3:00 in the morning, butt naked, running down the street. You know what I mean? Like there's some people that have those kind of stories too, like legit ones.
I have a picture from 1999 outside of the Electric Factory in Philadelphia, where it's me and Corey Taylor, and he has his artist pass in front of his face. He has rainbow bracelets on his wrist and a shirt that says "I fuck sheep" and a straw hat.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
sounds about right.
Literally, since I took that picture, I haven't been able to convince people that's actually Corey Taylor.
But it was.
That's the type of picture it is.
Well, in '99, they weren't showing their faces in public at all.
No, not at all.
Now, obviously, everyone knows who Corey is. It doesn't matter. But back then, it was like I remember '99, 2000. We were like. It was like a chore. We were like trying to find pictures of the band without their masks on, and you couldn't do it. Like you literally could not do it. Because I'm a big Slipknot fan too.
Ruined it all.
Yeah, I'm a big Slipknot fan too. I've been listening to Slipknot since I was in high school, a long time, dude. So, me too, man. Me too. And I still listen to Slipknot, but definitely Iowa's my favorite album, and that fucks with some people. People are like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude. It was definitely their heaviest album. I fucking loved it.
My favorite song of all time is the Heretic Anthem.
Oh, dude, it's so
good.
The
funny story behind that is I literally spent like 3.5 years of my life as a preacher.
Oh, wow. Really?
so it's actually like even more of a fun song.
I spent about a decade of my life as an atheist, and then I found God again. So I'm like a born again.
Oh, do you want to have that conversation?
I mean, we can if you want to, dude. We got like another 40 minutes. So
yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So I was a shithead teenager. I sold a gang of drugs, was involved with terrible people.
Sure.
Got myself in trouble, ended up doing a little time. And in the process, I found Jesus, or he found me, however people like to shake that. And I had a good story. So when I got out, I got involved in the church, and they were like, hey, you're cool talking in front of people. I got out of jail in December. Easter Sunday, I preached 2 services in front of like 5,200 people.
Holy crap.
And then they handed me a check for $5,000 for my ministry that didn't exist. And long story short,
wow,
dude, a $5,000 for a non-existent ministry. So fast forward, like I legit wrote a book and like preached all over the place and planted churches. It was crazy, but also I'm like slightly autistic. So when I get in a vibe like that, right? Yeah. Oh, definitely. If you don't think you are, you're worse than we are.
Yeah, you're worse. If you don't think you're autistic, you're a worse autist than normal people.
So I'm like, I studied myself crazy, and in the long run, like I basically like studied myself out of belief.
Jeez. Fair. Yeah.
And I had seen so much shit that it was like I had to like logic and reason it. And finally I gave it up, and I was like, hey, I'm pretty well convinced that it's all kind of bullshit and like psychological stuff. And then I did DMT.
Oh, and that totally fucked up.
And then I was like, okay, so God's definitely real. It's just not what I thought it was.
There's something
and if
out
you
there.
would like me to explain it to you, I can't, but I can kind of lead you in the right direction.
Do you want to know something really fucked up?
Story about a cactus and a toad.
For people that have done DMT, this is going to be really funny to you. So when I lived in Portland, Oregon for 7 years, right? Or the surrounding areas right outside of Portland mostly. I did live in Portland proper, like on the east side, the southeast side for, I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year. But the other 6 years, I either lived in Vancouver, Washington, which is right across the Columbia River from Portland, or south of Portland in Beaverton. And I kept trying to get out of there and move, and it was impossible. It's like a time suck. And then after 7 years, I finally got out of there because of my campaigns, actually, thankfully. But so it rains like 280 days out of the year in Portland, Oregon, dude. Like, it's just fucking constantly drizzling. It's not even like a rain. It's just a shitty, annoying, gloomy, fucking overcast, like
it's just sad.
Yeah, it's sad all the time, right? and so like when the summer rolls around, which really is just like the last week in August, right? When the summer rolls around, it's a little bit longer. I mean, they have like it's July to August, right?
Awful.
Yeah, it's like July to August. Like, there's like 2 months of summer. And they have like awesome fucking beautiful nature everywhere. It's one of the most beautiful. That's the thing that people don't understand about Oregon and Washington, right? Like, the people there deal with the sad life for 9 months because of how fucking gorgeous that place is. I mean, they have, Mount Hood and Mount St. Helens, and they have fucking river after river. The Columbia River Gorge is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life, ever. But they have all these great rivers. And so, me being a single man who worked in bars, I was like bartending, going to college and shit like that. As soon as the sun came out, right, I was in a tube floating down the river with like thousands of people. I mean, that's what you do. They go to the Clackamas River. Everybody parks in one spot. We drive everybody up to the top. We float down for like 6 hours with a fucking floating ice chest and drink beers and party and on the river. It's a great time. I mean, that's probably one of the most fun things to do in Oregon. And in fact, they did a whole segment of it on Portlandia, if you remember. If you ever watched the show. And so I had a good time. But the first time I smoked DMT, I was floating in a fucking inner tube in the middle of a river around, I don't know, 6,000 people, and I was
that's a good idea.
Hammered fucking drunk, dude. Okay, like I had been drinking for like 5 hours, 4 hours, floating down the river in the sun all day long, right? and my buddies pulls out what looks like a fucking crack pipe to me, and I'm like, dude, are you smoking meth right now, like in the fucking river, dude? He's like, nah, man. It's DMT, dude. And I'm like, okay, you don't look like you're on meth. Okay. It's DMT? Oh, really? It's like you're doing that fucking drug right now? That's the one you're doing? And I'm hammered, and I'm probably super high too. Like, I've been smoking weed all day. And I'm like, all right, cool, fucking hand it over. You know what I mean? And so I smoked DMT for the first time on a fucking little inner tube, right, with beer in my hand, floating down the river in the sun around 1,000 people. And boy, oh boy, was that a fucking experience.
Bro, but in all honesty, like, not even to like glorify drug use, right? But if you think about it in like spiritual terms, right? You can scour all sorts of religious books and you're going to mostly find two definitions of God. God is light and God is love. Sure. I've never felt more light and love than I felt in that DMT, bro.
Fucking crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
But also, when I came back, it was like, hey, like, that thing is somewhere inside me, right? So now I have to change the type of man I am because of the experience I just had. And that actually kind of brings me into like the LP thing, where like it kind of set me up to meet the guys like Heis and shit that I met. Because at the time I was like, I had reached like a weird point in my career where I had like a easy peasy job and I was making a ton of money and I could work from home when I wanted to. And then COVID hit.
Then you're really working from home when you want to.
And then the world went crazy and all of a sudden I wasn't working at all. And like, I was getting $600 a week from unemployment, and I was like, hey, I still am making less money now. Like, it sucked. But also, it opened me up to that experience where it was like, hey, maybe I'm looking at the world the wrong way.
Sure.
Maybe I'm not looking at myself the right way. And then I get involved with all these impressive people, right? And then I get exposed to impressive people like yourself, like Dave Smith, like.
Oh, dude, I'm bringing back like mildly attractive and moderately overweight. You know what I mean? Like I'm bringing it back, dude. So
just keep the beard trimmed, man, because if you get a tan, you might be. If people saw you in a ski vest, they'd be concerned.
A little. I know. Well, you know, it's funny. It's fucked up because I am Middle Eastern. You know that, right? Like my dad's side of the family.
I actually didn't know that. I just guessed it.
Yeah, no, I know. And you know, most people just, you know, like all these fucking idiots online are like, oh, you're a Nazi. I'm like, dude, I'm half Israeli, you dumb fuck. Like legitimately, my dad's side of the family's from Israel. Always blows my mind when people are like, oh, you're a white supremacist. And I'm like, I don't even really like the whites that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In fact, to me, I'm from California, so the whites where I'm from are like the really annoying, like overly racist, or what is it, the bigotry of low expectation racist Karens that are like upper middle class, like liberals. Like that. I don't like those white people. Those are kind of white people I really don't like at all. I like white people from the hood. You know what I mean?
I grew up around like the worst kind of white people, right? Like I grew up in a neighborhood that was like essentially a trailer park with houses.
Right.
And I was the only Latino kid in my neighborhood, so I was the Mexican.
Oh, right?
Yeah. Half the time I was the spit kid. I legit had an uncle that called me a spit till he died.
Of course.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I have a friend growing up in my neighborhood, and people get upset with this, but like legit growing up, they called him Nigger Joe because his dad was black and his mom's white. And he still lives in the neighborhood, and there's still people that call him that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Right. And I'm like, it's crazy to me, that whole experience. So I talk about white people shit a whole lot.
Oh yeah. Right? Yeah, no, it's funny. Like, so I grew up my experience was the opposite. I grew up in a project, apartment complex that was full on fucking low income Section 8 project housing. And I was one of two white families in the entire. I can play both sides of the thing. I'm white passing, okay, and so I was one of two white families. My mom's very white. We both have blue eyes. It's whatever, and so I grew up in an all black neighborhood. I mean, we didn't even have Mexican neighbors, dude. It was just straight up all black. Wow. And I'll never forget when the LA riots started. After the Rodney King beating and all that, and the verdict and all that shit, was that Mark Furman, the cop? Yeah, and I'll never forget where we lived. They were rioting, dude. Right, and we're about 7 hours north of LA, right, in the Bay Area, right outside of Oakland, California, and I'll never forget. So there was this dude that lived like 2 houses over from us, named Junior, and he was like the head of the Crips in the neighborhood, right. And he comes over with Charlene, who's his mama, right? Charlene. And they come over to the house. My mom's freaking the fuck out because my mom's a really nice, like, white lady. You know what I mean? She's not a Karen. She minds her own business, but she's like, fuck, we got to get out of here. And I don't know what's going on. I'm a kid. This was in the late 80s or whatever. And so, Junior comes over with Charlene and knocks on our door. And my mom's like, yeah. And Charlene's like, hey, Cher, open the door real quick. And she's like, you sure? And so she's like, yeah, it's fine. And I'll remember I was standing right behind my mom. My mom's like pushed me behind her, like, hey, stay right here, And she opens the door. And Junior's like, I just want y'all to know that you white people are cool and we ain't gonna fuck with you. Like straight to my mom's face. And I'll never forget. I was like, that to me, I was like, that's the day. That's the day that I got invited to the barbecue, dude. You know what I mean?
That's the day you got your hood passed.
Yeah, that was the day I got invited to barbecue. And let me tell you, because I mean, before that, I got beat up a fucking lot. And I was a big kid, dude, but I was afraid because I was by myself. I was like an island. I got my collarbone broken. I'd come home with big ass fat goose eggs on my head all the time. I mean, it was bad, right? I got invited to the barbecue that day, and nobody fucked with me ever again in that neighborhood. Not once. I don't know what it was. I think maybe they realized that we were like, I don't know, the cool white people or whatever. You know what I mean? And they just never fucked with me again. Not once, dude. It was really cool. And now there are some of those people from that same hood I still talk to and are still my really good friends today. Almost 40 years old. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
But also think about how you turned out because of that.
Right.
And think about the culture we find ourselves in right now.
Yeah, I'm not a
Where, like-
hoity-toity little bitch, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like everybody's a pussy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo,
pussies,
like,
dude.
like I grew up in a neighborhood where we would fight on Tuesday and Thursday and drink beers in the woods on Friday.
Right.
And it was like every fight you got in, like every time you got in a fight, you had a better chance of winning the fight.
Right.
Every time you won a fight, there was less a chance someone else was going to fuck with you.
Right. It's
So
how it is.
like bullying became like almost a way to climb like the cultural ladder in our neighborhoods when we were kids.
Right.
And it made us all strong dudes. And guess what? The guys who won all the fight or lost fights all the time, like from my neighborhood, they're all dead from like drug overdoses or they're on their fifth trip to fucking state prison.
Right.
Right. But the guys who were flexible and were like, hey, I'll take ass whooping here and there, but it'll make me sharper next time, they're all standing strong. So I think you just kind of reinforce my opinion that like shaming people isn't a fucking terrible thing.
Yeah, no, but we need to bring back bullying for sure. There's no doubt about it.
I agree.
I talked about this recently. I helped to bully John Waldenberger out of the party. You're welcome.
Dude, you can't bully that kid out of the party. I don't understand. He's like literally he quit a convention publicly.
Yeah.
Then he came back and then he was like, fuck you, and I'm a classic liberal. And then now he's like back again trying to tell people what they should.
It's all right.
do.
He'll be fucked after
like,
Reno so bad. He won't. He's just gonna be like.
He's gonna be fucked sooner than that. To be honest with you, like currently, I'm not giving any inside baseball information, but the dude literally doesn't have a county that he's an actual member in because every county he's been involved in kicked him out.
Yeah. Oh.
So he's just a shithead online.
Yeah, dude.
That's why I don't entertain him. He tweeted some shit at us when we were going back and forth. And I was like, I'm not even responding to that dude.
Yeah,
because
he sucks, dude.
If you let guys like that scream into a void, that's all they're going to do. Eventually they disappear.
Yeah, but sometimes
he's
it's
a
fun,
hero
dude.
in his own mind.
Sometimes it's fun though, dude. Because listen, have you seen the video of him at the LNC meeting, on the LNC meeting?
Yes, I have.
That was worth all the interactions that I've had with him. That was worth it right there.
Also, I will tell you that he made the mistake of sitting across from me on Saturday. So there was only an aisle between us.
Oh.
So it was me and my girl here and him and his wife there. And we had a motion to suspend the rules that won like 85% to like it set the tone in the room. And I just started goading him the whole time. Every time a vote happened, I was like, cope and seethe, bitch. So by lunchtime, he had read the room. Him and Kevin Gagan.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He actually had the nerve to show up there. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, they rolled out. They went to lunch at the same place as a bunch of us.
Yeah.
So it was so bad because we were all cracking up and just laughing.
And they were
at a table somber. Off to the side. Just
By the way, Joe Bissell, thank you so much for the $100 super chat.
Let's go, Joe Bissell.
He got the red one, and he said, Anthony's a cheap SOB. Get more from him, Josh.
Oh, shit. All right. I see you, Joe. I mean, not all of us are like fucking idiots.
No, thank you guys. Thank you. You know, I used to have somebody who watched my show that was really, really fucking cool. That came around when I had Mark Pellegrino, who played Satan on what's the name of that show? Supernatural. He was also the Jacob, the man Jacob on Lost. He was in the Big Lebowski. I had him on the show because he started the Ayn Rand party, and I had a member that was a big fan of his that came and watched the show and ended up dropping like $300 in super chats during that show.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then for like every show for a week or two after that, it would pop in and just drop $100. And I was like, what a fucking cool person, dude. Like, what a really cool person to do that. You know what I mean?
And honestly, I look at it this way, right? Like, I'm Eastern vice chair right now, and we have a special election coming up April 5th. It's a Tuesday, and it's 2 hours away from my house. So I hit up 6 counties next to that county, and I was like, how many people can you bring out Sunday? Me and my girl are coming. We'll be there. We're all meeting here at noon, and then after that, we'll have a get together. The team that knocks on the most doors gets lunch for free.
Right.
Right. And we'll pay their gas and tolls. I'm like, bro, that's the type of shit like we need in the LP. And people are responding. We got like 24, 30 people going up there to just knock on people's doors. We already got the signatures we need. So we're just going up there to talk about people.
That's the important thing. And you know what's funny is these libertarians in the party that we're kind of replacing right now, right? Around the country. They talk all the time about the Mises Caucus and how the Mises Caucus doesn't do any work and this and that and this and that. They just want to take these positions away so they can get the Republicans enacted. And I think back, right, to all the states that I visited, right? I went out and did ballot access petitioning in Ohio, right? And I out petitioned the people that were there. I put together a ballot access fundraiser in Alabama, and I flew down there and hosted it and brought Adam Kokesh and other speakers, and I hosted a fundraiser and an auction. And then I did an auction in Illinois when I was their keynote speaker. I've hosted all kinds of things for different state parties, not even my own states. Right. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, you guys have all beat the street there in Pennsylvania. All the Mises Caucus guys there have all gone out and worn holes in their shoes, knocking doors and calling people. And I started thinking, and it's like, that's how the Mises Caucus is all over the country, dude. They're all like that. Right. And then I start thinking about the people that we're replacing. And I'm like, I didn't see any of these people do anything. Fucking anything, dude. And I've been in the party since 2015. Right. So we're talking 7 years now. I've been a registered voting libertarian since 2010. So 12 years. And I haven't seen these people do any kind of activism outside. I haven't seen them go to rallies or protests. I haven't seen them knock doors. I haven't seen them do anything.
Oh, all right. You hit a hot button issue for me. I knew you were going to fucking do this to me too. By the way, in terms of activism, don't tread on Philly.
Yeah, that was a good rally. I wish I could have went there.
Seriously, check out Don't Tread on Philly. 100%. They legitimately got rid of the vaccine mandates in Philly. That's how hard they worked and the shit they did. So the thing that's funny to me is people like to say, oh, the Mises Caucus just wants power and shit like that. I've been EVC for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, me and 3 other people have legitimately recruited 30 people to run state representative campaigns in PA.
Oh, no, dude. No. The old board said you guys won't get any candidates ever. And
we're not going to get ballot access. Yeah, blah, blah,
you guys
blah.
are fucked, dude. Sorry. Steve Sheets knows how to do it better than you, bro. Okay?
I mean, he knows how to finish a bottle better than me, but that's neither here nor there.
A fucking baby bottle.
Right? But what I'm saying is in 2020, the LPPA ran 5 state rep candidates. Right. We're about to run 30 plus.
But they took like 30 uncontested dog catcher races though.
Right. Okay. Exactly. So here's the controversial thing I'm going to say is one of the things that the old guard, the Steve Sheets and Jen Moores and those fucking losers, people who changed their voter registration and all that shit because the Nazis took over. Those people like to pride themselves on the Moulton maneuver. Chuck Moulton's a great guy.
Yeah, smart guy. I like Chuck.
Text with him regularly. He knows his shit.
Yeah, he's a reasonable middle guy.
Exactly. Yeah. He found a loophole essentially to get people elected in uncontested elections.
Right.
So Pennsylvania's claim to fame is we have almost 200 elected libertarians. But how many of those elected libertarians are in positions in which they can actually affect change?
I only know one. And
we have a couple libertarian mayors.
That's who I was about. One of them is a Mises Caucus person, by the way.
Crosby.
Yeah, in case you're fucking wondering, one of the only truly elected people in Pennsylvania is fucking Mises Caucus. So fuck you.
An incumbent Republican.
And she's a badass too, by the way. She's dope.
Right.
Like, love her to death, dude.
Legit. You should have her on the show.
Yeah, I should. You're right.
So from my perspective, I'm like, 2 years ago, you ran 5 motherfuckers. We're about to run 35.
Right.
What happens if we win 3 of those races?
They have no more claim to fame.
We are going to be the first group of leadership that got a libertarian in the state house. And we can do it because of redistricting.
In Pennsylvania. Because we have won state rep races before.
No, but I'm saying in PA. We don't have haven't had a
don't ever forget that we won one 2 years ago.
New Hampshire, Justin O'Donnell.
No,
text me in a minute and yell at me too.
No. We won one in Wyoming last year, and in the 70s we won one in Alaska. Okay, so
all right,
you know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
All I'm saying is if we could do it once or twice in the same election in PA, and with redistricting, now the requirements for state reps, because the district lines went away, are 300 signatures apiece for state reps. So now we also have up ballot candidates.
Right.
So we can stack signatures. So if we have 35 people running for state rep that have to collect 300 signatures or are going to collect 500, do the math, and all those signatures count to our up ballot candidates.
Right.
So if we can get someone on the gubernatorial ballot as a libertarian in PA when they couldn't get Steve Sheets as a congressman for count them 1, 2, 3 years, we've proved everybody wrong. So that's my goal.
I hope you fucking
in
do
all
it,
this shit.
I hope you do it.
And also,
God.
Bro, I'm running for state rep myself,
Yeah.
and me and there's like 4 of us. We're legitimately running a campaign. We're writing a campaign playbook. I'm working with all the state rep candidates statewide. The first week of April, they're legitimately, everybody's going to have homework assignments. They're going to know how much money they need for a website, what paperwork they have to fill out. I'm distributing it all. We're coming out in force because I want the R's and D's in PA to recognize that, like, we might be small now, but we're undeniable.
Right.
We're not fucking around, and we came here to fight, and eventually you're going to lose.
You want to know something? We
have the people to make that shit happen.
You want to know something pretty funny? I am currently a filed candidate for U.S. Senate. A lot of people, nobody knows this, by the way, because I was going to try and pull some little sneakies on the election laws here in Iowa and run against Grassley, Senator Grassley from Iowa. And so I am registered with the FEC right now as a U.S. Senate candidate, as a libertarian. But you have to get like a lot of fucking signatures, like a lot of signatures to get on ballot. And I didn't have time to do that because when I filed, it was like a week or 2 weeks before the deadline. And it was, like I said, we were going to pull a little sneaky at the St. Patty's Day parade downtown Des Moines and get the signatures we needed. But it didn't happen. So I am registered. I am going to end that campaign and not actually run it, but I filed with them just in case. So I'm a U.S. Senate candidate currently, in case you're wondering.
Well, let me paint a picture for you.
Yeah.
Right? Say we have 35 people and half of them are just paper ballot candidates.
Yeah, don't ever run a paper ballot candidate. It's embarrassing.
Fair enough, but if we have 18 serious candidates,
sure,
and we can get the signatures we need to make enough noise, the incumbents have to counter our points.
Right.
So if I'm in charge of messaging, right, it's, hey, we're all on the same page. We all know what we're going after, and you can, like, hey, I'm going to give you like the guidelines, like, hey, here's like the basis, right? But also mold it to your area.
Sure.
If your area is a little more red, you want to message towards like guns, maybe. If your area is a little more blue, you want to message towards decrim. That's fine. However you want to fucking make it your own, but here's the basis of like by which we're all going to move. You get on a debate stage with some RD, like you can win on like just an issue. You bring up masks and you can get people who doesn't care what their fucking registration says. They're like, you don't want my kids wearing masks at school, I'm going to vote for you.
Right.
We have a unique opportunity right now, which is 100% why I support your run as vice chair, because I think we have a unique opportunity. We have a unique group of messengers. And we have people who have the balls to fucking stand up and say, like, hey, that's not right. Like, think about what's going on. People are, like, touting Ron DeSantis like he's some sort of champion. And they're ignoring the dumb shit he's done.
Right.
Because he's speaking about one particular issue. And it's like, hey, I support his viewpoint on that issue. But if I say that, or if you and I get in depth about that, we'll probably get kicked the fuck off YouTube.
Right.
It's crazy. So I come from it from like, politics used to be downstream of culture, but politicians figured out how to use virtue signaling to influence culture more than they can be influenced, because ultimately the peons don't have the money to influence them.
Sure.
So my view for the LP in a general sense, even on the national level, is like, if we create the right culture with people and we incentivize people to buy into what we're about and create the groups that we all kind of create independently, and we all are fucking standing firm together, we can influence politics. Think about how much, like, all the virtue signaling shit that's going on right now is literally representative of a small fraction of our country. If we can get together in a serious way and make our voices loud enough, we can be louder than those people, right?
Right.
And if we can do that, then they can't deny us an entrance into the conversation.
Right.
And that's what I want to push for.
Yeah, I agree, man. I've been talking about that for years in the party. If we can create a culture and messaging, like strategic, focused messaging goals that actually speak to, you know, the issues of our time, like COVID or the war in Russia or any of this stuff, that's important stuff that we should be messaging about. And we have a national board right now that does none of that. They suck. And I can't wait to see us get, I can't wait to see us get rid of these corrupt fucking loser cowards, dude. I'm sorry. I can't stand them. They're such shitty fucking like little like, like hoity-toity, just pussies. Just absolute pussies. Pussies.
I agree. 100%. They're bitch-made dudes that try to act like they have virtuous like integrity of some sort.
I agree.
And I'm like, if you're a real man, you would look at yourself and recognize that you lost the plot, bro.
Hugely. But you know, what are you gonna do? CD McRae, thanks for the $50 super chat. She says,
what's up, CD?
She says Josh dances like he grew up in the hood.
Yeah. We'll have to see that next year at the convention.
So we went out to the bar when I was in Florida. CD and Fat Dave and his wife and a bunch of other friends, Duke Chastain, a bunch of our buddies. We went out to downtown Melbourne, Florida, and had some drinks.
I've been there.
We went to the Hood Bar, which we were like the only white people in. And I had some drinks, and I was like, I'm fucking home, right? Like, you could see that they were like visibly uncomfortable, and I was like, yeah, bitch, I'm home. What's up? You know what I mean? Like, I was stoked. And so I was like dancing to the hood music and shit, and they were like, hey man, you're definitely actually Duke Chastain made a post the next day. It said Joshua Smith is definitely the blackest member of the Libertarian Party.
I used to be in a hardcore band, and we recorded at a rap studio.
Nice. Those two musics go hand in hand, by the way.
And it was actually funny because like my hardcore band was kind of a screamo band. So I would go in the studio by myself, and all the black rapper dudes would listen to me scream, and they'd be like, yo, could you do some shit like that for me on a track? Or like, and they would try to like toy around with the idea. And then one day they invite me to this nightclub. Right. And at the time, I'm like, I got a whole bandana.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got like another bandana on top of it. I have a fucking chain wallet. I'm wearing Harley boots.
Oh, yeah.
But also, because I'm Latino, I have a Cadillac with airbags and Dayton's.
Yeah, so the car of my ancestors.
And it sits on the floor, and I get out looking like I should have got off a motorcycle. And I walk inside, and the music is like my weird science moment. Well, my boy's like, go, go, go. So we're sitting in this little like secluded area, and I go to walk to the bar, and I'm literally probably the only like Caucasian guy who's been in there since they signed the fire inspection. Right. And this black dude looks at me, and he's like, can I buy you a drink, buddy? And I was like, why do you want to buy me a drink? And he was like, because if you're with those motherfuckers, you're probably a scary motherfucker. And I
Yeah,
like,
I am, motherfucker. You're right.
Right. So I was like, hey, I'll take a Heineken.
Yeah.
And then I got the beer from the dude, and I went back to my buddy Lamar, and I was like, yo, this old head just bought me a beer. And he was like, bro, read the room. You're here with a bunch of like kind of rich or rapper type brothers.
Right.
They think you're a psychopath,
Right.
and you're probably like the drug dealer kingpin.
Probably the scariest dude in the bar, dude. Straight up. That's how that shit works,
right.
man.
And I was like, hey, I'll take it if I'm drinking for free all night.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, brother. So we're getting to the end of the public stream. Of course, when we end this stream, we'll go into the after hour stream and do 10 minutes, 20 minutes in there where we can really talk shit. But
can we go crazy?
Yeah, we can go pretty hard in there. So,
all right.
But okay. So before we go, by the way, I want to know what your plans are for the PA party going forward next year. What do you want to accomplish, dude?
All right. So one of the areas where I excel is social events, right? I used to run rock shows. I ran rap shows. I ran comedy shows. My girls on a fundraising board, they put events together. So for me, I want to get people together in a way that builds camaraderie, so you incentivize people to want to volunteer. I want to create a culture in a way that, like, we have so much fun together that when a thing comes up, people are like, hey, how can I help? So that's one thing. Also, I want to run candidates for office that are actually going to win races. So we're right now at like 35 potentially in PA for state rep. So I'm personally quarterbacking those campaigns. I'm helping all those state reps. I'm making sure they all have their paperwork. I'm making sure their messaging, websites, all that shit is up to par, and I'm personally running myself. So for me, my goal is to make the LPPA a legit like threat to the R's and D's, and I want the libertarian movement, I want the small L's to take the LPPA seriously, and I want those disaffected R's and D's to see that, like, hey, ultimately you're in agreement with us. So that's the vision. And I think if we put it the right way, or if we approach it the right way, if we message the right way, we'll attract the right people. And we have such a group of impressive people that we all really like drive each other to all be better.
Sure.
I think I'm an impressive guy, but I feel like I don't match up to probably like 5 other guys on the team.
More, you know what I mean? Impressive or less impressive than Joel, the other vice chair?
I mean, listen, first off, I beat him. He didn't even show up to the race because he knew he was going to lose.
No, I'm talking not John. I'm talking about Joel.
No,
Gates.
I'm talking about Joel.
Oh, okay.
I love him to death, but he faked a hangover, so he didn't have to eat shit in an election. But I wore his gold jacket, and I talked nice about him. So,
yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just fucking with him. But no, definitely more impressive than Joel, definitely better looking, and I could definitely get through TSA a lot easier than him.
Yeah, he's a little terrorist looking for sure. I am thinking about having him on the show. He's on day like 6.
He won't stop harassing you.
Yeah, he's on like day 6 or 7 now of messaging or of like making posts to me and Dave Smith, which I think is funny by the way, dude. because I love Dave. That's my brother, right? Like Dave Smith is my brother. I love that guy to death. He's one of the fucking coolest guys I've ever met in my life. Finally got to hang out with him in Florida for the first time in person, but we've talked, on the phone and podcasts and stuff a lot. But that guy's my fucking brother. Last night he got my back to Nick Sarwark on his clubhouse. But
tell you something
my show is not even a fraction of as big as Dave Smith's show is. I mean, his show is fucking huge. The guy goes on Joe Rogan regularly. Okay. Like, hey man, if you want to come on my show, hell yeah, dude, come on over, dude. It's not a huge show, guys. I promise you, not yet. Maybe someday.
So I got 2 things. If you let Joel come on, how about you send me a link too, and I sneak on?
That would be funny.
Like when he doesn't know it,
yeah,
so we can.
Oh, you're here for the debate, Anthony. All right.
Yeah, right. Like we could have a little fun with that.
I told him he can only come on if he wears the gold jacket and pit vipers.
And you saw my gold jacket gif. I made the gold jacket great again.
Yeah, he made. He said he's going to wear something better than that, so we'll see what happens.
Yes, we'll see. Yeah. But also, I saw wagers online about who could do it better. Dude, that's so funny.
Did you see what I did when he made day 6, his day 6 post? I posted the link for our show in there and said, don't forget to come hang out with it with
yes.
me, Anthony Portillo.
Yes, I was like, that's so funny because he was probably so butthurt by that. But so I'm going to tell you the funny thing about the LPPA. All right, so I won the election Saturday.
Sure.
Everything's over for business. So I had people like, hey, eat this edible. Hey, do this.
Oh,
and then I run into my buddy who is tripping balls. And I was like, hey, bro, what's going on? And he was like, go see that girl. Well, that girl happened to be talking to Nick Sarwark.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck.
I thought it was his wife, to be honest with you, like the whole weekend until someone told me it wasn't true.
Yeah.
And I like kind of deboed the conversation. And I was like, hey, I heard you have mushrooms. And then she gave them to me. And then I made her give them to my girlfriend. And
oh, you had a good time.
She's my fiance now.
Yeah.
Right. So mind you, same night, Tom Woods and Dave Smith are speaking.
Oh, yeah.
So
and you're trying not to laugh the whole time. So
long story short, we're back at the hotel. I met Tom Woods and I tried to lick him. And hold on. Here's the funnier part about that is I don't remember that at all. But somewhere in my chaos, I had the wherewithal to tell my girl, don't let me meet Dave Smith because I'm too fucked up.
Nice,
right?
Nice. See, you probably look.
So Sunday morning, hold on, it gets better. So Sunday morning, we get to the business meeting, still kind of tripping, and someone's like, "Yo, I heard you try to lick Tom Woods." I was like, "I didn't even meet Tom Woods," and my girlfriend was like, "You definitely have pictures in your phone of you and Tom Woods," and I was like, "Oh my god, did I really do that?" So I tweeted at him and said, "I'm sorry, you're still my hero," and he never responded. So he probably hates me. But
I'll talk to him.
My claim to fame is that if you can help me, getting in,
I could talk to Tom.
Listen, if you get me, bro, if you get me a Tom Woods follow, I'll throw up another $50.
Oh shit, Tom, he watches every show, so he'll be following you when it's over. Sure.
I'm just saying, Anthony Portillo.
Yeah. No. Hey,
sorry,
listen.
Tom.
Listen. Of those two men, the correct one to try and lick was definitely Tom. Definitely, 100%.
I mean,
so you lucked out there because listen, Dave is a hilarious motherfucker, but I don't think he likes to be licked. Tom, on the other hand, is such a fucking sweetheart that he was probably just laughed it off. You know what I mean?
Also, Dave Smith's like 6'3".
He's 6'2". He's 6'2" or 6'3". He's the same height as I am.
Fair enough. I'm 5'9".
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I would have had to reach up
yeah.
to lick Dave.
Yeah, and Dave and Tom is smaller than you.
Me, so
yeah.
I had, unfortunately, the dominant position.
Yeah, I think Tom's like 5'6".
Did I just make it worse?
I think you did. And he watches every show, dude. I'm telling you. Him and Dave Smith watch every show, and Scott Horton. They all watch every one of my shows.
I love you guys.
Scott Horton. Hey, man, I appreciate you to death, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Hey, dude, before we go, dude, tell people where they can follow you, support you, listen to you, support
Anthony
your causes.
Portillo on Twitter.
It's streaming
I have a
underneath.
podcast. Yes. I have a podcast called the Broken Windows Podcast.
Shocking.
On YouTube.
Libertarian with podcast.
Just started.
I had no idea.
Yes. Me and the secretary of the LPPA, Greg, and we have a buddy, Constantine, who's currently trying to assassinate.
I love Constantine. Putin. He is one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Yeah, we shipped him. He's on a top secret mission
for Russia.
Currently,
right
yes.
Yeah.
He's going to handle.
He's out there spreading Putin talking points?
He's out there handling big bad Vlad.
Sure.
And we have a hold on tracksuits for the foreseeable future.
Fair.
But when he's back, we're rip roaring ready to go with 5 or 6 more Igors.
I love Constantine, man. Constantine's one of my favorite dudes. I met him my first time to Pennsylvania. I met him. I went to they had where the fuck was that convention? Way out in the middle of Amish country. Not last year. Last year was way out there too, and the year before the year before that was in Philly.
Pittsburgh and then Philly.
And then the year before that was the year that I met Constantine. And it was in, I don't know, I can remember the name of the town. Some little ass town in Amish country, dude. I remember I flew into Philly, and then I had to drive 3 hours after flying into Philly. So, and I was
sounds about right.
Very hungover on Sunday morning, and had a flight that left at I think 7 o'clock in the morning in Philly. And so I had to wake up at like 3 o'clock after sleeping for an hour. And Mike Heiss and his beautiful now wife hopped in the car and drove my ass all the way to Philly. And then they turned around and drove back to the convention for Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And they live in Philly. I mean, not in Philly, but really close. So they're wonderful people. I love them to death. Very, very wonderful.
Well,
Glad they got married.
I love you, dude. You got to bring me on again.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, if you had a contest, I'm going to end up in your top 3 guests of
all time.
2022.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I wouldn't
just
say
started
all time.
The year just started.
Because I have to show my fealty to Heiss.
Sure.
So I can't take.
Yeah.
I can't take.
You don't want to be dragged publicly around the country. You know what I mean? I get it. I know. I got to show my fealty. No, Heiss knows.
But also, I'm saying if you threw a poll on Twitter that was like, should I have Anthony back?
If Heiss is listening, Heiss, are you getting tired of hearing the membership of the Mises Caucus tell you that you have to support me for vice chair yet?
Also,
are you getting tired of it?
Hold on. Let's have fun. Let's have me and Heiss back on
at the same time. I'll bring Heiss on and then I'll sneak you on while Heiss is on.
Bro, how about I'll just be your like WWE heel.
John Cena, just right in. John Cena!
Every time you bring someone in from PA, you just sneak me in and play some entrance music. I got you covered.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I did that with the entire Tower Power Hour gang on John Hudak from the Fakertarians, and it was really funny. If you haven't seen that episode,
I'm not cool enough to be on their podcast yet because I mean I'm friends with guys who have been on their podcast.
Sure.
I've made out with Neil Wood from Cult of Us.
Sure.
I've kissed Adam Nutter on the mouth. He's one of my close friends.
Yeah. I would kiss Adam Nutter on the mouth. If there was one dude that I'd kiss on the mouth, it'd probably be Adam Nutter.
I will tell you a funny story. My soon-to-be wife was like, she's like, you and Adam are gonna fuck one day, and I'm like, stop it.
No, dude, don't. My boy. Don't be like the Marines, dude. Don't be like the Marines where you're like, Don't be like the Marines where you try to outgay each other to the point of where, well, now we have to have sex.
I know he's gonna watch this later, and he's gonna be like, "Are we gonna have to have sex?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever try to outgay each other, I mean, you might take it that far. You never know, brother. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for coming on. Hey, if you can give me like 2 minutes to close out the stream, we'll start the members only stream. Awesome, thanks, brother. All right, guys, another awesome episode of Break the Cycle. Hey, Anthony's super cool. Go follow him, support him. He's new-ish to the political world as far as working on a state board. So give him all your advice and help and support these people, man, that are taking these positions from these losers, from these embarrassing cowards, and making a real liberty movement in the Libertarian Party. Show your support. To the 2 people who threw some super chats. Hey, thank you guys so much, man. Seriously. This campaign it's going to be a lot for me, obviously, with all the kids and stuff. And so any help I can get, man, I really appreciate it. Honestly, you guys are knocking out of the park, and I've always loved my supporters here. So thank you. Guys, go check out my sponsors. Of course, we have toplobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend, and my good friend on Break the Cycle, who does all of my thumbnails by hand, by the way, in case you were wondering. He's really the show. It's not me. You can get this great Break the Cycle pillow that you see next to me during all of my shows, or all kinds of great other gear as well. I wore a Black Guns Matter Being a Bitch's un-American shirt tonight, but typically I wear Top Lobster on the show. I hope he's not mad. I had to wear some Philly gear, but go check that out, and or you can join the Patreon Subscribe Star, become a member of my YouTube channel, hitting the join link under all of my videos to get into a private Discord server where you can get up to 30% off of all of Top Lobster's new gear 2 weeks before it goes to the general public. Super discounted stuff, and of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Wonderful Delaware libertarians who have their rightful spots back, by the way. Check them out today. See what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Guys, I will have no more shows this week, only the one. I'm sorry. I was going to do a show tomorrow, but Top Lobster had to reschedule, so we're going to do Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll have a cool show for you on Friday next week. And then I'll be heading out to Minnesota for their state convention next Friday, where I'll get to hang out with David Brady, who I will be on his live show this coming Sunday, so just a couple days from now. David Brady's a really cool kid, young man, Mises guy in college from Minnesota, so I'm excited to be on his show and support him. I will see you on Monday or Tuesday for the show with Top Lobster, but until then, don't forget to break the cycle.
to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just meant it in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just meant it in Minecraft. But Chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse in Minecraft.